I'm going to start video 4 off by saying please forget about the way you do things in Microsoft. Kali is Linux, which means it's a completely different operating system than Microsoft. We don't usually click and go on a Linux system, and the theory is completely different. In general, navigation is basically what Linux is about. Think about a rally car driver. He won't know if he needs to turn left, slow down, or make a sharp right to get to the finish line if he doesn't have someone next to him navigating him where he needs to go. So we will now have a look at basic navigation through Kali in order to get to places like a rally car driver. We use commands like ls or cd. Now, I'm not saying you cannot do this through the GUI, but you have to know the command line in order to do these things. It's rather easy once you get your head around it. So make notes. I will take you through a download and an install in this video, stuff that we will use later on. It's sometimes also necessary to change permissions, just like you would in Microsoft, in order to get something to work. And then here's the tricky part that gets a lot of Microsoft users. The fact that you execute a command in order to get an app to work. So let's get down to the basics and get the basics right. The first thing we will look at is quickly doing an update on our Kali machine. We will look at changing and navigating a bit. And we will download, install, and change the permission. So fire up your Kali machines and let's start doing this. Do you remember how to either click on Start or double-click on Kali Linux? Enter on the blue screen and log in with the username root and the password root backwards. We are going to start off by going to our terminal, which is the little black box on your left-hand side. Once you've opened that, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do something known as an ls. The ls command will give me a listing of the basic directories that I currently have. From here, I want to go to the desktop, so I'm going to type cd space capital D, because Kali, or Linux in general, is case sensitive. I'm going to type DES and I'm going to hit tab, because tab will autofill, which will make things just so much easier. When I hit ls again, you will see that it doesn't show me anything. Now, looking at my desktop background, you will notice that there isn't really anything installed on there. Now, leave it as is and open up your Firefox, which is the top button on the left-hand side. From here, we are going to go to a site known as GitHub. So in Google, type Git, H-U-B, hub. And from there, select your first link, which will open up GitHub for you. You don't have to have a username or a password or anything, a registration, to access GitHub. All you're going to do is search for a tool called Yuki. The one we want is the one that says Yuki-chan, the auto pen tester, and open that up. Once it's open, I want you to have a look at the green box on your right-hand side. Clicking on it, it will give you a link. Click on it again, right-click, and go to copy. Minimize Firefox, and on your terminal, I want you to type git space clone space right-click and paste, and hit enter. Before you hit enter, please make sure you are on the desktop. You will see that over there. And let the download complete. Once the download's completed, I will continue with the video. Great stuff. So how do I access that folder that is now on my desktop? Quite simple. I am going to say cd space, and I'm going to start typing the letters and hit tab to autocomplete. Once you're in there, let's go and have a look at what's inside by hitting, there we go, you guessed it, ls. And there is all my modules. Now just like in Windows, I wouldn't be able to use those modules unless I have permissions to use them. So to change a permission, you're going to hit chmod, and in Linux terms, it's going to be read, write, or full control on either system, user, or owner. In that case, it's going to be 777. And the first one that I want is going to be J. The first one is going to be J, O, and tab for Joomscan. The next one I'm going to do is going to be WAF Ninja. So it's WA tab. And the last one that I want to do is going to be install. And let's go and give one for Yuki as well. And hit enter. Now bear in mind, Linux is not going to tell you congratulations, you now have permission. If there's an error, you will know it. If there's no error, well, it's not going to say anything. If you are running an older version of Kali, say for example 2007, you need to say install, and then it will actually come up with the requirements. If you are using a newer version of Kali, like 2018, which you've downloaded recently, it's going to give you that error. Now from here, you are going to say // because that is the way we install stuff or run stuff. You are going to say in and tab to install this module. From here, you're just going to type yes, and guys, this is going to be an immensely long install. While it's busy installing, I'm going to minimize this, and I'm just going to go and open up a new terminal, and let's just run through those commands one more time. In order for us to actually go and browse to the desktop directory, all we're going to do is we're going to say cd for change directory, and it's going to be des tab and enter, which is the desktop. Now I just want to show you something interesting here. If you want to go back to your root directory and you're going to say cd root, it is not going to work. You have to in fact tell it that it is a directory, and we do this with a /. So from here, it's going to be root and enter, and you will be back at your root directory. Let's just go and clear the screen quickly. So again, we want to go to the desktop, so we are going to say cd for change directory, des tab, and enter. If we want to use something that we've downloaded on GitHub, for example, we are just going to copy the link at the bottom where it says clone or download. We are then going to say git space clone, and we will then paste the directory. Now I can't do this because we've sort of already done that. Once we're there, we want to browse to that directory and we want to see what is inside. Now obviously it's going to be green because we've sort of already been downloading these things. So again, if I want to change the permission, we're going to say chmod. We're going to give read, write, and full control and all the good things to the owner and to the system and to the user and whoever else. And all we're going to do is we're just going to go and add the files that we want to give full control on. Unlike Microsoft, where you need to right-click on every single one of them, go down to properties, sharing, security, whatever the case may be. In this case, you are just going to list every single file that you want to give this permission to. Awesome. And then, in order to install something, we work with something known as the // sequence. It's still busy. Okay, I'm going to pause until this is done. Wow, that was a long install. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next one, we will be having a look at starting and stopping services. So please, practice. Practice, practice, practice as much as you can, because that's the only way you learn navigation in Linux. See you soon.